Hey everybody, it's Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and welcome to another video on the NIK filters. And we've been discussing the Silver Effect Pro line just in the last few days. If you haven't gone on and gotten those free filters from Google, I want you to make sure to go out and do that. So yesterday we kind of went in and we were discussing the control point part. That's where we left off. And so I wanted to come in and finish some of the other items that are on here so that you're going to love Silver Effects Pro constantly, and you're going to be going back to it time and time again. So yesterday we kind of ended up where we were using the control points, and I was showing you how to go in, select a point, put the brush on here, and go in and switch the brightness from certain areas. So you've got the filter on, but now you can go in and select certain aspects of these images and kind of make changes to it. So it's kind of a nice little addition that you can kind of go in and do. So we went into the control point area, and we've kind of figured that all out. The other thing in the control point area is you can kind of go in here and you can take a look at a quick point by just clicking on this right here, and it'll show you the actual control point and turn it off so that it's kind of on and off. So if you want to know exactly what your brush is doing, you can go in there and take a look at that. So from there then, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other things that are possible inside here. When you're using one of the controls, if you're actually going in and using these controls, whether it be brightness or whatever inside here, if you just double click on that point, it'll reset it back to 0 again. So if you kind of get into a point and instead of trying to get exactly where 0 is, just double click on it. It'll take you right back to the 0 point. Yesterday I mentioned real quickly about the dynamic brightness. The one thing about the dynamic brightness is it's just affecting kind of the subject matter of this shot. So if I went in and actually again, if I double clicked on that, it'll zero out. If I just went in and went into the highlight area or the shadow area, what it's going to do is it's just going to affect that area inside there. The dynamic brightness actually is going to just zero in more on the subject matter that's kind of inside there. So it's kind of just go through, and it's a real nice structure. It works really, really nice with high key because it's just kind of moving from the subject itself. So it's kind of a cool little filter to be able to go into and take a look at. So again, with the contrast, you can go through and look at contrast in certain areas. And so we've kind of gone through some of that structure. And of course, yesterday we talked about the structure brush, which again is kind of their version of the clarity filter inside that shot. Now, the other things that you can do is you can, and we talked about this in day one, you can go in and use the selected filters that are going in. This is kind of going into the darkroom. You know that if you put in a red filter, it would do, make a movement onto your black and white. So you can use those filters, and we talked about those in day one. Now, let's go into the film type area. So you can kind of go through and add grain inside here. So you can add your grain. You can add certain the sensibility level or the sensitivity level, excuse me. You can kind of go through here and figure out which, again, if you wanted to just go into certain areas of it, you can kind of click into this and move around. So once you click on this neutral point here, you'll be able to take a look at all of the different filters that are in this feature. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different filters in here. So you could change, you can go in and change what their setting was for their ISO Kodak 32 panoramic film X series, or you can go into their Ilford pan. So there's a bunch of different filters inside here. So once you click into it, you'll have a new grain structure that is going to be able to work with that. So you can see like here, as we moved into, as you can see down in the lower loop area, you can see that based on which film I select, I'll be able to put in a different grain structure or add whatever noise that I want to be able to do to kind of, deal with that filter. So it's kind of a nice little thing to be able to do in there. So again, nice area. The last thing that I want to show you is the finishing adjustments area. Here, if you click on the toning, you'll be able to click into this and you can see all of the different toning options, the duotone options that you have. There's just a bunch of them in here. And so if you want to add a little bit of color or whatever, you can kind of go in here. Like with anything, there's a bunch of crazy things going on in here, which probably are going a little extreme, but definitely there's some pretty cool things in there. I will normally like the first sepia or the second sepia tone that they have in here. Both of these are very, very nice. So you'll be able to kind of go in there. You'll be able to put a vignette on, so you can add a vignette. So you can see that they've got a bunch of different vignetting options that they have here, which is very nice. And then you'll be able to go into burn on the edges. You'll be able to do some of that stuff. So once you, again, turn them on, then you'll be able to click in, and then you'll be able to take the strength and be able to move it. As you can see here, it's kind of moving from the different sides, so you can see the strength. So if you don't like it, then you can always shut it off. And then the last one here is kind of cool. It's the image border section. So if one of these filters over here that you put on actually included like the border option, then what you can do is pull it off here by just coming over here. So you can see there's a bunch of great borders in here. So if you really want to finish up your work and you're trying to put them maybe on a fine art series or something, there's a bunch of options in here. Once you click on an option, then you'll be able to add to the size of it and the spread of it as well. So you can add a little bit more to make it a little bit thicker. You can add a clean edge on there very well. And so there's a lot of options when you're going inside the border. Again, if you want to turn it off, just go to turning it off. So there's a huge amount of options. Now, once you get something all taken care of, maybe you like something and a way that you've actually done your black and white, you can add it to the custom area here, which is really cool. So next time you'll be able to just click on that item and it'll automatically be done for you with all of the options that you've all clicked on. So you can see there's just so many things to be offering in the Silver Effects Pro. And we just discussed the Silver Effects Pro. There's so many more things going on with this. So I really hope that you enjoy this program and will be able to take something with it. So again, this is only one very, very small program in the 7 programs that are offered absolutely free from Google. Once you're completed, all you have to do is click on OK. What will happen is then the filter will be put on there. And the nice thing about it is it's going to be working from a layer. So as you can see here, we actually have the layer from Silver Effects Pro on there. And we can make adjustments from there. If we wanted to do something special with that certain layer, we can certainly go in. Since we can add a mask to it, and since it's there, we can use different blending options, all kinds of different things that we can do with it because it's working inside the layers. Again, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training. I'm hoping that you're enjoying this series on the free NIK filters that are being offered there from Google. I'm looking forward to completing the entire set and the entire suite, or as a lot of people refer to it. And again, I'm Rick Trummer from Rick Trummer Consulting and Training, and I'll see you on the tube.